Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cheap Lounge, where we take a look at dollar bin, other really inexpensive records that I've picked up here and there in the lounge core, easy listening, elevator music kind of category. And these are records that I've digitized just recently and put selections up onto my hobby radio station called Moody Mood Music, which is on Live 365. That's going to be linked below, and you can listen to that anytime. It's still a happy hour. Get yourself a happy hour cocktail, a cheap drink here at the Cheap Lounge. I'm having the cheapest drink of all, water, right now. So let's take a look at recent additions to Moody Mood Music. Well, you know, I love my European dance, ballroom dance records, and I've come across a plethora of them sort of recently. I don't know how or why exactly. Gunter Noris, I've talked about him. We've had records from him before. I just want to throw this one out, the Tanzplatte from the year 1988 that I have uploaded selections onto Moody Mood Music. What is not to love here? These are all original compositions, all of these songs, every single one of them by Gunter Noris, so you don't know any of them, which I love. And they're amazing songs. I mean, he writes great stuff. Happy Birthday Berlin, Dreams of New Orleans, Chicago A Go-Go, Trinidad Bikini. I mean, what's not to love here? So we dig it. That's Mr. Norris right there. Here's another guy I'm kind of digging, although I'm realizing now I don't really know that much about him, but Anthony Newley recorded, playing on his name, Newley recorded Anthony Newley. I have some things from him, and I don't know if we talked about him on this show or not. I'm checking to see the songwriters here on this. It's not listed on the cover, but I'm wondering if they are listed here. Okay, these are not. I just recently learned that he actually was a composer as well as a performer. I guess there's the obligatory ambulance, fire truck, whatever. I guess he has, I think of him, well, he passed away in 1999, so I think of him as having been like a Broadway or British theatrical stage performer, but actually did a number of films. I don't think I've seen any films that he's been in, and I'll have to check those out because I'm reading there are quite a few. And songwriting, I didn't know he wrote songs either, but he wrote quite a few. He won a Grammy Award for What Kind of Fool Am I? Yeah, What Kind of Fool Am I? And he wrote The Candyman, the Sammy Davis song that we all knew in the 70s. Who can make the sunshine turn it, whatever. The Candyman, yeah, he wrote it. I just have known him as being like a very flamboyant performer and a very flamboyant singer, and which was kind of curious to me because I always used to say, before I really came across Anthony Newley, was that the only person I knew in the world that sang with a British accent was Julie Andrews, because people, whenever they sing, tend to lose their accents, whether they're American, Australian, South African, whatever. When they're all singing in English, the accents just seem to disappear. You can't really tell, but Julie Andrews, you could really tell she was British, and I always felt that was kind of put on purpose, and I feel like it probably was put on purpose with Anthony Newley. He was known for sort of singing in Cockney, which was, I guess, what he grew up with speaking anyway, and just sort of kept that in the performance, but I don't know in reality how much intention there was behind that. I feel like because you can't hear it in anybody else except Julie Andrews and him, there must have been some intention in maintaining an accent like that when you're singing. But I don't know. Anyway, I was just surprised to hear of all his other talents that I just didn't really know about. But this album, I love it, and I like it because there's just one or two songs, Old Devil Moon, one or two songs you would have ever heard of. Most of these are from musicals and shows that, maybe in their time were okay, but we don't really know them now. None of these songs I was like, oh, I have dreamed. But the other ones, Old Devil Moon and I Have Dreamed, that's it. The other songs, I'm like, I don't know these songs at all. But it's kind of great to hear old, new songs, if you know what I mean. So we enjoyed that. Here's an album I loved. Oh, hardcore. I knew I was going to love it, and I was not disappointed. I really love the Singers Unlimited 1974 album. I don't know if you've heard of them or have anything from them. I think we've mentioned them on the show before. I've had stuff before, and I have some other stuff in the stacks I haven't listened to yet from them. But this one we digitized recently, and selections are up on the station, and it is the kind of a group effort. It's the Singers Unlimited with Art Von Damme, who is an accordionist, a jazz accordionist. So this is very tasteful. It's so nice, tasteful jazz. This sort of jazz accordion with the four singers, the singers four. There they are. Some of it is vocalese. Most of the songs they're actually singing the lyrics, and there's one or two instrumentals with Art Von Damme, with oohing and awing, I guess vocalese, whatever. Great stuff. Really, really love this album. Definitely recommend it. Always excited, really excited if I find something from the Singers Unlimited and the Anita Kerr singers in the cheapies, in a cheap, dollar bin, because I love them. Here was a record that was kind of a surprise. It's a 1970 recording, Cyril Stapleton and his orchestra. It's a British outfit. Film Themes Go Latin on Pi Records. Now, this was surprising to me because I was expecting it to be kind of like Edmundo Rose or something. I'm thinking it's going to be, these movie themes, but like wild cha-chas and mambos and that kind of thing. It doesn't really give you an indication on the back that it's going to be that, but I guess you just, right? It's sort of a natural expectation, I think, when you see Film Themes Go Latin. But wow, this album was surprising. Very nice, but a surprise. Very different from what I thought. It is the most lush, kind of mellow, very bossa nova kind of tempos. Film themes, but it's very like you're in the airport lounge in 1975, with the music being piped in, a little bossa nova beat, with a full super lush orchestra. So yeah, surprisingly different than what I thought it was going to be, but really nice. We really liked it. Another album that was a big surprise to me this week. We all know Tony Bennett. I love Tony Bennett. Who doesn't love Tony Bennett? Well, maybe you don't. I do. Love his voice. And I'm like, okay, it's another Tony Bennett coming up in rotation to, listen to and digitize and pick some things out for the station. So I innocently put this on the turntable and started digitizing and listening. I had no idea. What a beautiful, beautiful work of art. This album is a work of art. The arrangements, it's mostly this. Now, this is coming out during the time period when these labels were wanting the people on their labels, this is Columbia Records, to do more contemporary stuff, right? We're sort of entering into the rock era, and a lot of these singers from the easy listening kind of era, the labels were, kind of pushing them more to do what at the time was more contemporary material. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't for them. But this album, I have to really give credit to, so this has popular songs like Something, the Beatles, you know, something in the way she went, Long and Winding Road on a Clear Day, Come Saturday Morning, What a Wonderful World. Peter Matz did the arranging and conducting here, and I have to give major props to Peter Matz, because you can tell these arrangements were made different than the original recordings. I mean, of course, but very thoughtful, very mindful of who was going to be singing them, what their style of adaptation would be like. I mean, yeah, it just blew me away. Like, this album is so beautiful. The only song I didn't really care for was his rendition of Wave, oddly, because we all love that song, and it's a mellow song. But it's really slow. Like, they really made it slow on this album, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of dragging. But, oh man, everything else on here, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine to me, this record. If you've seen it and passed it up or whatever, don't be passing it up again. I love Tony Bennett, but this is exceptional, I think. Quickly, well, there's a million Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops records. We've talked about them and him. I was just a little bit excited by this because I thought, oh, this will be good. Glenn Miller's biggest hits played by Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops. And it was just kind of ish, I have to say. Ish, not as great as I thought. The standouts for me, though, I will say, are the slow numbers. The fast ones, I don't know. I felt attacked or something by their arrangements. Like, it was just too much. But the slow numbers, like Moonlight Serenade, Moonlight Cocktail, Sunrise Serenade, Sleepy Lagoon, beautiful arrangements, and all very sweet. They made it a point to just be kind of sweet and harmonious on those arrangements. I do love this cover art here. But yeah, a little bit of a disappointment, but hey, for $1 or $2, the slow numbers are exquisite, I must say. Finally, I'm going to spend just a couple minutes to talk about this 1967 record on Capitol EMI. Rod McKuen's The Love Movement. Now, you all know that I love me some Rod McKuen. Yes, I do. But every once in a while, an artist does an album that you go, what's your point? Like, what was the point of this record? The Love Movement. That's how I felt. Looking forward to it and then playing it. The liner notes are kind of nonsense. I mean, he's just saying at a UCL football game backstage, some football player Rod McKuen gave him a rose. And he thought, oh, the Victorian era is not over or whatever. And I'm going to write this little, not a play, but he's sort of pretending it is, and makes up all these names for performers on it, like Percy Protest, Flowers Are Good For You, a sitar player named Molten Lava, Pablo Bernstein's Rubber Band, the Submerged Soho Symphony Orchestra. I don't know. I don't even understand conceptually, like, the interrelatedness of the songs. I don't feel like there is any relationship between these songs. Some of them are, sometimes I really do like Rod McKuen, and I do understand that sometimes he's kind of rambling, and, there are certain compositions or poems where I'm like, okay, what are you really trying to say here? But this whole album, I was just like, what is the point of this? A 60-second version of Madame Butterfly. The instrumental ones are nice. I always like his, instrumental tunes are nice. The 83rd Psalm, Love Song of a Peppermint Patty, Who Kills a Butterfly on a Wheel? What does that even mean? But it's a really pretty song, the tune, I like that. But then there's ones where people are singing, and some of those serious. There's a couple that are serious that are okay. Smoking bananas will clean your mind. I mean, what? Just, I don't get it. What was the reason for doing this record? I just don't understand. I don't understand. Okay, let's listen to some needle drops from these records.
Somewhere in her smile, she knows that I don't need another lover. Something in her style that shows me. And make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on yourself.
Of kiss and never tell, folly or farewell, heaven or maybe hell. Which is it gonna be, love or gin, or wife or sin? Let's begin.
And you can hear selections from all these records and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other ones on Moody Mood Music. which will be linked below. It's on live365.com. I have over 11,000 songs in rotation right now. That's a lot of music. That's a lot of music. And that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't cost you anything to listen to it. I do it as a labor of love. Costs me a little bit of money, actually. Yeah. And I do have, if you feel the desire to buy me a coffee, because I do usually drink coffee, there is a buy me a coffee link below for like small, donations if you feel like being inspired by the channel or the radio station or whatever, and anything that's donated to that would go back into buying more records, because I don't have enough. Clearly, I just don't have enough records. And you don't have enough to listen to. I save you from having to buy all of these things. So when you want to hear easy listening music, a huge amount of it, you just tune into Moody Mood Music. You don't have to dig through the stacks and sit on the floor and do all that stuff like what I do. You can just, enjoy from the comfort of your home. So, all right, thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more, share if you know anybody who might be interested, and we'll enjoy continuing the commentary in the comment section down below. Any of you that have these records are interested in them or something to say it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Bye-bye.